A lot of questions about the name here. I'm seeing fly through the chat.
I went down on MacBook as the name. They went with Neo. We found that out early because they posted a tech document on their own website. Apple, love it when Apple blows it for themselves.
I asked this before we started because I'm genuinely torn on Neo. I honestly thought it was a code name. I didn't think there was any chance this thing would be launched as the Neo.
I was not a fan. When I saw the leak, I was convinced that it wasn't real, in the sense like this is not the product name, it's just a code name because the name's terrible. And it's really taken me some time just to get to acceptance. I don't know why. There's just something about it that like I just can't really get my head around the name of this one. Like I feel like
maybe it's because you pronounce it Neo.
Oh, that's the problem. But like I feel like the other products in the Mac lineup, they fit more to me of like what the product is, and I don't really feel like Neo means anything, and I guess that's the point. But anyway, I'm used to it now in a way that it's like I'm fine with it.
So we have the iPhone 17e, we have the Apple Watch SE, and now we have the MacBook Neo. They all have the letter E. Is that the unifying element here, or is Neo going to become a new line for the entry-level product?
I think Neo is just specific to the MacBook. I love the name. The more I liked it when I first heard it, and now that I've sat with it for 2 days, I think it's perfect. I really do. I think it even somehow, because it's only 3 letters, it sounds like Nano, like it's small, even though it actually isn't that much smaller. It's got like a smaller footprint, but like you said, it's actually a little thicker, and it weighs exactly the same, 2.7 pounds. But it sounds cute and adorable, and I like it. So I don't think so.
I think they wanted, literally, I think it's called Neo because they wanted a clean start with this product instead of ever being like, do you start with the MacBook? Because the reality is, and it has been for over a decade now, everyone starts with the MacBook Air.
Right. Well, and the 12-inch MacBook was decidedly not an entry-level machine. Wasn't it more expensive than the Air?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they lost that thread.
Yeah, and that computer just like didn't work. Like it didn't work.
I don't think anybody would disagree that Neo means new, right? But new what exactly? I think the first and most important answer is a new customer. I think the best way to understand what I mean is to visit an Apple store. Now, when you walk in, the first thing that you'll notice about the Neo is how colorful it is, relatively speaking.
If you go into like the MacBook Compare specs page on their website, and you set up like a MacBook Neo, a MacBook Pro, and a MacBook Air as the 3, and you put them in price order, it almost looks like you have them in the reverse order for how nice these computers are. 'Cause it's like, if you look at like cars, the really, really cheap car model of a model line is like only available in white. Right, and then you go a little bit higher, and it's like, okay, you can get a few more colors here. And then you go to the luxury cars, you get a lot of color options there. The MacBook lineup is the opposite. The nicer the Mac computer is, the fewer color options you have.
When I visited on launch day last week, the Neo table was right in front of the entrance. They had 4 Neos displayed: silver, indigo, blush, and citrus, all on color-matched placemats. And to me, when I saw it, I thought that the colors kind of drew me in. They draw you in amongst a sea of other laptops that are mostly shades of silver and black. The colors encourage you, in a way, to walk up to the table with the Neos on it because of that. Now, when you walk up, you might not notice much of anything at all. It kind of just looks like it's a Mac. Anodized aluminum, Mac OS, liquid glass. But the next thing that you're going to notice is something that you don't usually associate with the Mac: an affordable price. Now, ever since the thing was announced, I have been spot testing the concept of a Neo with all the people who are around me. Like, what does a budget MacBook mean to somebody who maybe isn't a nerd like you and me? So I'll say something like, what do you think of a MacBook for $599? And after a pause, because there's always a pause, I almost always get this response. What's the catch? To many people, this is what this tells me. An affordable Apple product is an oxymoron. The assumption is that there has to be some major catch.
So John Turnus, the Senior Vice President of Hardware Engineering at Apple. How similar of an experience, if any, are we going to have to the transition when we moved from Intel Macs to the M chips, where there was a certain level of adaptability to the new chip architecture that needed to come into play on the development side to really optimize apps for that new chip? Are we going to see that here?
No. I mean, I think the beauty is there we were switching architectures, right? We were switching from the Intel architecture to Apple Silicon. This is all a common architecture, so it just works, is kind of the short answer.
That's great news, and I think a lot of people had that question, so to hear that from the horse's mouth, if you will, that's pretty incredible.
One of the first things that I saw on my feed about the Neo was this video of a creator asking John Turnus about macOS compatibility because it ran with an iPhone chip. He was getting flamed in the comment section. I kid you not, like all of these comments were being like one after another, like 70% of the comment section was just hounding him for asking this question. But I remember the bad old days of the Surface RT. Now, I remember these because my high school girlfriend bought an early Surface laptop. It was a big deal at my high school at the time. And if you don't remember it, it was meant as an iPad competitor with an ARM processor, this kind of Windows version because Windows couldn't run on ARM, and so Microsoft made Windows RT. And Windows RT was meant to work on ARM and run on a processor that was originally meant for a phone, which seems straightforward enough. So what was the problem?
I think once all the apps are there, and like that's got to happen because otherwise this thing's gonna fail. So once it gets all the apps and stuff, then it's kind of like it does become more of a tablet then, right?
Yeah.
So once you've got those the key apps like I don't know, like Spotify and Twitter and Facebook, and because there's some Twitter apps, but they're not.
So I mean, are those things coming? Because that's what's killing this thing right now, right? It's you have a tablet. No, and this is going to be a really harsh burn, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna own it.
And then you're just gonna knock the Surface.
And then I'm gonna no. Here's what I think Microsoft has accomplished with the Surface. I think they've built the world's best HP touchpad. They've like matched that level of not in terms of like running WebOS or any, but in terms of like the level of accomplishment.
Well, the issue was that my girlfriend and I ran into the exact issue that everyone else ran into, which is that we were trying to install software that she needed for school, but we're constantly getting launch blocked because Windows RT couldn't run most Windows apps unless they were recompiled for an ARM chip.
But that's all Windows 8. That's what I'm saying. So let's get away from the Surface because you know what we keep doing? We keep talking about Windows 8 because it's fundamentally more like interesting. Yeah. Like this is like I'm telling you, this is the touchpad. Like keep working on this.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Please, for God's sake, please work on this more because it's great and the ideas are great. But everything else that's interesting about Windows 8 is actually Windows 8.
Yeah.
And RT is like you sliced off this chunk of Windows 8 and you said, "Here's your new computer," and you're like. I miss all the other stuff, and I definitely miss the performance of the whole computer.
And so, the Surface RT, in summary, was a device that was meant to hit the sweet spot for PCs at about $500 with an ARM phone chip that had compatibility problems. That was the major catch. And because Microsoft in general sucks at design for the consumer market, there is a whole class of people out there who have never owned a Mac and who assume that a computer like this must have some kind of major catch. But I digress. So, I was saying, people were skeptical when I brought it up to them. But once they get past the sticker shock, after I explain what they'll be getting for $599, the usual next reaction is great interest.
What do you think?
Just the same.
So, you just don't want a Mac.
Yeah.
But if you did want a Mac, you'd get a Neo.
Yeah.
And you'd get a pink Neo.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm being honest, I don't know anyone who's purchased one yet. And so take this all with a grain of salt. But more than I can ever recall over decades, and I really mean it, decades of recommending Macs to people, I know so many more people who immediately hear the value proposition of the Neo and begin considering a purchase almost immediately because of the price alone. What's most shocking about this, though, is that most of the people that I've talked to, most of the people that I've gotten this reaction from, have never owned a Mac in their lifetime, which is, of course, the first answer to our question of what's new, a new customer. The Neo is Neo because it's for people who are new to the Mac.
Get the Mac into as many people's hands as possible. Because let's be honest, life is just better when you're using a Mac. And so we set out to build totally new, from the ground up, a new system to do just that. And we call it MacBook Neo.
Are you sure it's not going to be an 18 Neo?
I do think there will be. I think that they'll say that
18 Neo. Why not make Neo just the entry-level model?
Because I think I think that would be something for the talk show, not dithering, because I think it would take a long time. But I think it means something very different to them.
All right. Well, maybe we got to go to like a Applebee's. I'll get you a steak Neo entry level.
I should not have just taken a swig of coffee right there, because I almost spewed it all over this MacBook Air.